Hello, I'm joined by Benji, Fishy, and Autumn, and today we are going to be playing Agree to Disagree. It's fairly simple. They have got some, well, I guess, cards, and basically I'm going to ask them a statement, and they have to tell me if they agree or disagree. Very straightforward. We're going to be starting off talking about our newest map. Abyss is the funniest map created so far.
Funniest?
Funniest. Have you had any laughs?
Yeah.
Oh,
for sure.
Okay. When do we count down?
Go for it. No, just go for it. Straight away.
Agree. Yeah, not as strongly, but it is good. Like, bro, the amount of time, especially when the map first came out, bro, everybody was just dying. Like in scrims, bro, you just see someone die off spawn, bro, just to jump off the map. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Same with me. I think I've fallen off the map a few times, and even on ecos, like sometimes in scrims we just 5-man jump off.
Yeah.
Does not give them any gold points, stuff like this. I think it's definitely funny.
Okay, statement number 2. Aspas is the best player of all time.
Oh.
You know, if you disagree, I'm going to ask you who is.
Nah.
Okay, agree. Who is then, Benji?
Who is the best player of all time? FNS, bro.
FNS. What is it about his game that you specifically like?
He just has aura. He just has.
Oh, come on.
Just his aura, bro. Like,
aura.
like
I see it.
In the you know, I haven't had the honor of playing against FNS. You know, sadly didn't quarter champs, but you know, I would be very intimidated. I would be extremely intimidated.
He's one of the goats.
He's one of the goats for sure.
One of the goats.
So yeah, I'll go with FNS.
Okay. Well, we've had our first difference.
Yeah, I agree because I think Aspas is just probably the most consistent player I've seen in the game. Like, he's just always putting up phenomenal numbers and stuff like this, and just the amount of consistency in this game, I think it's really like incredible.
Okay. I think this one might split the decision a little bit. British cuisine is better than Australian.
Wait, British is better?
It is better, yes.
What is Australian food though?
Yeah, I'm just gonna say there's not really that.
What
many
is Australian? What's a
cuisine.
typical Australian?
Shepherd pie?
A shepherd's
meat
pie.
pie.
That is also
that's English as well, bro.
Do you know what a parma is?
A parma?
Yeah, like a chicken schnitzel with like.
Oh, like in a wrap or what?
Chicken schnitzel with like cheese and tomato sauce, like pizza sauce.
Oh, I think I might have had it before.
That's
I mean, that's pretty good. Okay,
That's a chicken parmesan.
I mean, the thing is,
isn't that American?
maybe. I mean,
like, Australian cuisine's not really a thing, but
that's the thing. Neither is like. I mean, you've got some English stuff, but like, I see Australia as just like a hotter England. To be honest, that's where I see it. I'm gonna go disagree because you know, even though I'm British, I'm not a huge fan of British food.
Disagree though.
Yeah, we both disagree. Okay, respect.
Okay. Well, the final and most important question. Tom looks good in his leather jacket.
Right. Strongly agree.
Strongly agree. Okay. Right, we're going to end it there. Thank you, guys. We're going to be throwing it straight off to the desk. Just remember that one. I look fantastic. We'll see you in a bit.
Welcome back, everyone, as FPX forces a Map 3 taking Bind, which we all thought was basically all done and dusted. But that goes to show you when it's Champions time, I mean, anything is possible here. And they even did it with a composition that was fascinating, to say the least.
Inexplicable
Yeah.
is the way I would call that one. Because they came out and, I'm going to be real, I didn't see the vision fully with this composition. I'm still not sure if I did. But
I don't know if they're...
I think Team Heretics in a lot of these rounds overcomplicated things a little bit.
Yeah.
They kept on trying to go for these slow rounds, and they kept on contacting into players, just holding angles. It was light holding aggressive on short. It was the chamber and showers. In so many of these rounds, these same early opportunities were being given away, and it was giving FPX advantages constantly.
Yeah, for what it's worth, I think FPX had a decent game plan coming into this where they're like, we're just going to kind of play around their utility a little bit, like some of their smokes and the Viper walls and things like that. We're just going to find ways to just hide in corners, hide in angles they're not expecting, surprise the heck out of them. and just knock them down. The rounds where Heretics found some success was like on these heavy execute rounds where they're able to really put together these successful, you know, snowballs into a site, just take over the round, and then their post plan is just way better because they have a lot more mollies and things to work with. So there were those opportunities, but like you were saying, they just kept contacting into players and dying.
But I think this is the classic FPX, where they play a comp that isn't optimal, that doesn't have like the perfect idea behind it always, but they just execute on things solidly. They play off each other really well. They have some insane individuals. I mean, the amount of just rounds won on mechanics this map was so impressive. Like, these are good players that play well as a team, and they'll really catch you off guard, as we saw here on Bind.
Yeah, they were able to pick up the dub, but of course, it's time for our Verizon high-speed moment. We're going to give this one to Benji Fishy for his 3K in round 4, even though, you know, the Heretics boys weren't able to walk away with the dub. I mean, still, you know, you get a couple people walking in through the teleporter, you're like, oh, hello. He just caught 1, 2, and on top of that, he was about to get gobbled up by the Fade util too. So that was great. And just another day of Benji Fishy doing something ridiculous and just shrugging it off. I've been casting him for a while. He does that quite a bit. Yeah, I mean, honestly, even with the situation that, you know, Heretics find themselves in here, you know, going down on Bind, when we thought that that could have been a given for them, now we shift our focus here, map 3 to Lotus. And what I'm excited about is we're about to get some zoom zoom, you know, about to get some neon up on the server, you know?
This should be really interesting. I mean, a map that FPX beat Heretics on at Shanghai, again, different, you know, players, different lineups, that kind of thing. But there is some experience here for the side of FPX as well, going up against good Neons. They beat RB, who was playing for Titan Esports over in China. They were able to best him on Lotus. Lotus is a good map for FPX, and Heretics is actually changing it up completely. No Neon.
Wow.
So this is just the default comp. They're familiar with it. Everyone has played this one before, but that is really surprising. This will be 3 maps now without Miniboo playing the Neon that defined Stage 2, and I think defined Miniboo as a player. But let's talk about this FPX comp. Triple controller. It's a really weird one, but on their attacking side, it gives them a lot of tools to break up the map and scale into very small pieces at a time. Taking A, they're never going to go for the super early fight, but they'll Astra Smoke one early, close spot. Then they'll Omen Smoke deeper, and they'll have all these layers to segment and give themselves advantageous duels, and it's super disruptive because you're never in scrims in Europe playing against a team who has a comp like this. It's cool ideas, and FPX does it well.
They're testing your discipline. They're testing your util, and if you are going to be able to hold on to it long enough to wait for those actual executes.
Yeah, well, you couldn't have asked for a better way to kick off day 1 of Champions Seoul. We're going to map 3. It's Lotus. Let's find out who walks away with the dub. We're going to send it back over to Mitch and Tom for the call.
Thank you very much, GB. Yeah, listen, a 3-mapper between these two teams, I would have said it's likely at the start of this series, but after seeing Abyss, I wasn't so sure.
Did they sit down at the wrong computers? Why
Maybe.
is Woot on Omen? Why is Boo on Fade? Like, they've switched, but they brought in some of the same agents and then just sat down at the other computer. Rians is also switching to the Viper. Like, again, this is something completely different to what we're normally seeing. They're bringing in that double controller, which I don't mind. I can only assume it's because Woot's going to look to be that little bit more aggressive. Although saying that, Rians is the one that's pushing up.
Curious look for Heretics. My goodness. Well, let's see how this one pans out. Haven't seen Boo on the Fade in quite a while. In fact, doesn't even have that many games on it in total. Autumn has gone down right away. A few assists coming in. The Fade alongside the decay from the Viper wall. And they're looking to push right in towards Heretics' position. Boo, well, he has a tracer, a rough idea of where those players are, but he can't land the shots. Luckily, the rest of the squad is there to cover all bases. A flawless start to this one, 1-0 for Heretics.
Will it work? No, I'm kidding. That would be a little bit of it. But the thing is, winning both pistols has been the defining point of the map so far. Like, they've been both incredibly close. Okay, one of them went to OT, so I guess the pistols maybe weren't the most clinical thing in the world, but it could have meant that first map went the way of FPX, and getting off to a good start here for the side of Heretics is going to be so important. I'm excited to see some of these role switches. As said, like, there's opportunities to see Woot get more aggressive. Like, a lot of the time, you're going to see that lockdown of the A site with the triple push up and then leaving that Omen behind.
We saw players who like used to be duelists and stuff do it in the past, but Woot has sort of played every role. I can't think back to him playing Sentinel, but anything other than that, he's pretty much in the books.
You can almost say the same for the good old Boo.
Yeah.
Over the years, he's done whatever needs to be done. For Heretics 1-0 to start this one out in FPX, just play the classics. A very light buy for them in this round, and Heretics will be sitting back, letting them run about the map and do as they please. No control over Rubble, which is a big part of having to catch myself. A big part of Boo's gameplay is what I'd normally say, but well, he's not going to be doing that this time around. We heard from Alfier at the end of stage 2 that he's very bored of playing the same role again and again, and he wants to play everything.
But didn't Boo got controller of the year in EMEA, right?
He
so
got
just
controller.
like,
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, I'm going for initiator now, lads. I'm going for the initiator of champions. Because why bother? Why bother playing the controller anymore when you've already completed it?
Yeah, completed it, mate.
Oh.
Got 100%.
This round should be very little. Any extra kills would be nice for FPX, and not an awful start. Managing to get those trades. Now, we haven't really talked about it as much, but the thing I love about this attack side triple controller is it means they can actually use that Viper screen for space into the B site for Woot. He's going to be on cleanup crew. Now, any extra cost here would be a weapon dropped. They've only lost pistols so far.
Yeah, and Aya has a chance, but Woot's a little too quick. He was just the same, finding the second shot onto life, and well, with those connections, that is a 2-0 start. FPX, though, doing some damage. At the end of the day, the main heavy hitters are carried over to the next.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing, though. I want you to keep an eye on where that Viper screen is going for the attack, because normally it's going to be used a lot of the time for A control. You're going to use it to try and sell a bit of a ruse, but most of the time, Autumn is going to be playing it at different ways to cross into the B site. So he's going to make it so that he can sort of section off parts of the door so they can isolate in by going through the broken door, and then also it sections off heaven at the same time. So it makes things quite awkward for B site defenders, and also means that you can basically go in, and if you go from mid, you can fight a singular angle. It's quite a nice Viper screen, but one that you can't normally allow, and something they shouldn't have allowed is Miniboo doing that.
Well, you think that when you commit life to holding an angle, that'll be enough, but Miniboo's off to a flyer. Started the first. Rifles for the most part on the side of Team Heretics. Not that many weaknesses. Odin bought up by FPX, trying to spam down early on A, but it's converted out now for the rifle. Oh, and it's converted back, and it's converted back again. They're juggling all the way to the spawn, and it's going to be chucked away. So just the rifles carried forward. And Autumn doing work with them already. That's Boo dropped the A site, weakened a little bit, but there's still a defender here.
Benji's still around as well. Rotation already coming in from Rian, so they bolstered this A site defense, and with 3 players already committed to tree, this could be a problem. They haven't managed to get out of this spot, but Woot's going to give them the fight. In fact, Rian swings with him, and both players are dropped.
Yeah, the call was clearly made to face them together. Can't quite account for those shots landing in that fashion. FPX now only facing off against a weaker weapon in the form of Benji, and Miniboo has hit a few nice shots. We'll see if he can find a bit more. He's gone down the rope. He's on the site, round the corner. They're not expecting it. The angle's open. He finds his one. Nade thrown, but he has a player around the backside. It's Aya on his way, and Ayung is not even needed, really. The kill was going to go either way, Autumn or himself. It's only about who gets the orbs. Luckily, with Ayung finding it, he's 1 away from a thrash, which could be valuable coming into round 4.
Yeah, I think they did well with just the slow pace. Like, the weaponry really wasn't that weak in this round for Heretics, but the double swing, just being patient around the angle, and actually a little bit disjointed. That was the bigger problem. Like, Lysor is the one that gets both kills, because I think Rian's is just a little bit late on the swing, and that's enough for a double kill to come through for the Omen player. Another one who likes to switch things up away from Sentinel and plenty of other roles. And this early fight, well, fair enough, Woot. I guess you can just play a duelist initiator and everything in between.
Yeah, a man of many talents, that's for sure. A jack of all trades and a master of most as well. The Odin spray from Boo. It's stylish. I like it. A little bit of damage already, but Miniboo goes out to see if they're still there. Well, the info is at least found. Unfortunately, the advantage is lost in the meantime. Woot! Oh my goodness! 16 HP left on Berlin. 35, in fact, bit of decay in play. He's not going to be too healthy in any future fights. Thrash leading the way. B site to be cleared. I don't think it's going to find any connections. It will be recovered, though, for the post plant.
Yeah, and again, you can see those smokes already put into play. Viper screen could delay even further. That's going to be the problem of getting in on this retake, is you almost have to disrespect some of the utility that is on the FPX side, otherwise you're just never going to get a moment. Paranoia is still available for Woot, but does he use it up top? That's the real problem.
Yeah, he does, but he doesn't catch Lysor. It was used too shallow. And I believe Thrash, yeah, it's just now back online. So the chances of this round going the way of Heretics next to none, with 3 ends desperately trying to escape, but running straight into the waiting hands of Autumn. That is a nice equalization. And for FPX, the ball is most certainly rolling on this attack.
Yeah, getting the hang of things. And again, we've seen this where a lot of the time the team that gets off to a good start is going to eventually slow down a little bit. Those pistols have almost been a burden of the first half, but in the second it definitely helps out a little bit more. I like that we're seeing a lot of the early fights actually be taken by the Omens. Like, again, you're playing a double controller, so it's not nearly as bad as your solo smoker going down. In fact, if you're FPX, you have 2 more. And both of them managed to catch fights on elevated duels. Again, FPX are going to challenge for this control. Maybe expecting a little bit more resistance, but it's much more passive. The weaponry is not ideal, but if they can delay, there is a flank coming. And you have to take into consideration there is no Sentinel online for FPX.
Young's lost half his HP through a spam through the door with the Sheriffs. And a push up from C. Lots of information. Yeah, I think FPX definitely expected a bit more aggression from Heretics. Remember, last round they took the space very quickly, sending life out into the open, but there was a player up top above their smoke, destroying their flash and taking a free kill on a player in the air. Now, they're much more cautious of that early aggression. Dizzy to be thrown through. Nobody caught by it. So in goes the wingman for the plant. Almost undeniable, but a potential reveal with the swings out. They hope they can convert a couple of kills, but they are kept in position, whether it be by bullets or utility. There's not much to be done on the side of Team Heretics. Just Woot and Benji left to try and clutch it all. 2 versus 5. The best they can hope for is damage.
Yeah, either that or to go down to the spike. A couple of ultimates getting relatively close. Nice shot from Benji. We know how dangerous he is with this Sheriff. Looking for a little bit more. 3 kills already. Another one comes up for Wu as well. It's now somehow left on to just Berlin. This round was looking all but done. He's been revealed. They know where he is as well. And already sending utility, but it hasn't connected. It doesn't even matter. 2 players survived. After what was every single man standing for FPX, somehow Benji and Wu have pulled off a miracle.
2v5 with only Sheriffs. MasterCard Thrifty on the back of Benji Fishy walking in to Tree alone with a pistol in his hand. This is absolutely outrageous. Swinging in for the next. The first shot didn't hit. The correction was there. And I think he even headshot the other player through the wall, assisting on the kill. That is a Benji Fishy round, and immediately FPX call a timeout. That's not a round you can ever afford to lose.
That might be the hardest they've ever hit the timeout button. That has got to be infuriating. And that's the thing, we talk about this with Benji. One of the funniest things was that up until very recently in EMEA, he'd never got an ace.
Yeah.
Do you remember the gun he got the ace with?
It was a Sheriff on Vine, wasn't it?
It was a Sheriff on Vine.
Yeah.
It just seems to be where, I don't know, maybe he puts like 85% of his practice. I know that's not true, but somehow just looks so good when it comes to the pistol. And that as I said, that's got to be a backbreaker for FPX. Like, you're in a very powerful post plant. I don't even think it was played that badly. Like, they try and re-swing off a pistol and just get domed. Sure, if you group up and stay together, he's never winning that, but to critique them trying to fight a guy using a Sheriff,
But I'll tell you what, Tom, if you were the last guy alive in your rank game, I think you'd critique them trying to fight a Sheriff.
Sure.
That's for damn sure. But
maybe if it was Benji Fishy, but unfortunately, he ain't in my rank games.
Unfortunately, yeah. Well, I think you should be pretty grateful he's not around, Tom. The 3-2.
Maybe let me win.
I don't think he likes you that much.
Feel pity.
I don't think. But 3-2 for Team Heretics. I don't think they were expecting to win round number 5 when it started, and when they were in the 2v5, they certainly weren't. They're given a lifeline to keep the lead early on, deny FPX the foothold on this map. The attack side left with 2. Rifles bought up. A lot of the credits are down to their last, down to the wire. don't. Okay. Don't want to see any crazy risks taken by FPX. They've got to be cautious in this round. It was Woot that got aggressive, that tried to get up in their face. He's lost his life now. That Rubble control not quite going his way, but Rienz has done well to trade it out.
I'm almost wondering how. It looked like there was a smoke down. Did he just tap a couple of bullets through it?
I think
He was still towards the A site. Maybe it is possible, but even still, it must have just been a pixel shot that he connected. I'll be happy with that because the early aggression definitely didn't pay off. Still have a showstopper available and actually gambled back towards the C site. 3 players. Come on, Boo. Maybe a little bit lucky to be alive. He's going to fall back with the smoke shutting him off completely and that control going the way of FPX. The only problem is they don't have a mass amount of time to only be getting this control now. There's still a lot to do.
If they switch back to B, they could be in trouble. I think that's going to be the play. Usually when it's low time left, that's where teams decide to take it. The spike's certainly on its way, but the nade has kept them back, bought a little bit more time. We're down to 20 seconds, and Team Heretics now have rotated in to assist on the A site. They're ready for this push. Oh, they're just now pulling back from it, giving up that space. It looks like FPX, despite the clock being against them, will just about have enough time to get this planted.
Yeah, I don't think they mind that though. Having the lockdown available and the showstopper. In fact, the showstopper committed immediately. Maybe trying to force players back. Instead, Lysol goes forward. Gives them that advantage. Another comes up as well. Finally, Boo has managed to get a response, but it's whether or not they even want to commit the lockdown. I think at this stage, it would be, well, an oversight to put that into play. Benji, well, he pulled off an impossible clutch moments ago. This one might even have to be better, and Lysol's not going to give him the time of day. An instant response from the side of FPX, and we're level again.
Big round by Lysor. That showstopper would have done damage, and I'm pretty sure Mini Boo on the fall off from it is picking up a little bit more, but he swings in. And the thing is, I saw 2 players behind, and the fact that he's able to get out of there, reset for a fight later on is huge. The fact that Woot, look, this is Woot playing an Omen. He's 7-3. He's having a good game so far, and he decides not to go for the standard control over Rubble where you shrouded step across, you tuck in, maybe you have a reveal come through. Instead, he's just peeking it because they don't get contact early. They don't have the wall. They're just assuming that FPX aren't going there. So in taking the space, he loses the fight to Autumn. Not an easy player to face off against on those shift peaks. But now we're neck and neck yet again. But the problem is
information.
The Heretics only have, well, Sheriffs on most players, Tom.
Yeah.
No, they couldn't possibly do anything with those.
They should have the read, though. They've pushed up C. They put Prowlers through B. So they basically know that this is going to be that early A control. So they can stack players up here. Bit of spam from either side, but they have to be wary of a potential double back towards the B side. And with Boo already being tagged low, there is going to be a push. Well, immediately broken. And actually going to try and push into Rienz. I was about to say, going through a snake bite would be an incredible risk in a round where it's not necessary at all.
Especially with things like this now. Orb into a young and almost a double detain. But Thrash is stopped at the last second. Mini Boo up close now. Sheriff in hand, not able to land the shots. Life whizzing right by him as Lysor finds another. Now things are looking to be locked in for FPX. Just a few pistols left, and Benji's not getting away with it this time around.
Yeah, still a little bit of damage across players, but not anything to write home about. 4 of the last 5 rounds, and well, we know what round 5 was. I don't think we need to tell you twice. Actually, Heretics are going to take themselves a pause. Understandable. This is one that seems to be starting to get away from them a little bit. A team that has had their ups and downs on this map, no doubt about it. A recent loss to the side of Vitality, I think, has called in this mass change in, well, maybe not so much compositionally, but more so for the roles that they're being played on. And for the other side of things, okay, they've had a couple of losses here and there, but it definitely feels like a middle ground. It's always close when FPX are playing. And the fact that they're currently in the lead after losing the pistol and losing a round to a Sheriff shows that in the majority of the buy rounds, they have looked a lot more comfortable.
Yeah, and coming into the next as well, you know, sure, there's ultimates online for both sides, but my eye is drawn to FPX, to the Viper's Pit, to the Showstopper. Cosmic Divide, less so. It could be online for this. It's Life. It's been a little bit slower, but nothing I'd really complain about. He's entering in. It's tough on the attack.
No, but it's more so it's tough with this comp. like you're playing a solo initiator triple controller. Like a lot of the rounds he's going brute force in, and that's the way they need to play. Is he will be a sacrifice. He's happy to do that. That's something I love about Life in this game, is on this map in particular especially, he is willing to sacrifice himself if it wins the round. He's not one of those duelists who's looking at his stats, looking at the numbers. He will go in head first and the trade will be there. FPX play like that.
He's the initiator's utility.
Yeah.
Sky Dog just going through. He ain't going to get the kill, but as long as you do, who cares?
He has a boom bot, and he is also a boom bot.
He is a boom bot with wings a lot of the time. He's been having his Red Bull. Well, for FPX, 4-3. Strong position, like you said, having lost the pistol, having lost a huge clutch to 2 Sheriffs. In a thrifty round. Now find themselves in the lead early on. Team Heretics have ultimates of their own. The lockdown for Benji Fishy leaves them with a much more passive hold of C. Not in terms of the utility. Alarm bot just there, revealing there's some players. But it's not like they want to hold on to this control with their lives when you have the lockdown.
I think also just FPX hadn't gone C. They waited for that showstopper. The utility is Sublime, setting up Life perfectly, but the response from Boo is ridiculous. Opens the door in an oversight, it seems. No one aware of that flank. He might have used the Nightfall. I think that caught everybody, and then they just didn't hear the sound behind them. What a play from the IGL. As said, a role that we did see him play a bit last year, but as of recent, hasn't been on that initiator.
30 seconds left.
Lysor's going to get a plant, but they are close by.
Oh, they absolutely are. Lysor knows that, having already heard the Prowler go around the corner. Try to get himself a foothold inside of Tree. Here's his opportunity. That door's going to open. That's a 1v1. No, it's not. Okay. Yeah, Boo's playing it smart. If he opens the door, he gives him an avenue back into the game, back into the round. Instead, he's going to have to take down 3. Already 1 through the smoke, and the spams came close, but not close enough. There may be a hole in Mini Boo's earphones, but he's still rocking and rolling with most of his HP. FPX not going to keep the lead for too much longer. We're now tied up again, neck and neck.
Yeah, that was a huge play as well, because the thing is, we haven't seen FPX go towards the C site at all, and the initial entry was fantastic, the combination of utility, but then Boo just uses the Nightfall, and no one is aware that he's just going to open that door and go for the fight. Maybe they thought it was for delay, maybe they thought someone would come in from behind, but the way that he just opens the door and sprays them all down before any utility is put into place was absolutely perfect. Couldn't have timed it any better. Again, though, we now look at the response, because so far, Heretics have either won their rounds off hero plays, but actually just really off hero plays, or it's been the pistol.
Early fight and early success for Mini Boo. They tried to cross this one conventionally, and it's not even Woot's Rubble control that matters. The quick one shot to the head. Team Heretics, 4 players early on A main, now start to fill in the rest of the space. Again, they're confident to play retakes on B or C with a lockdown in play. No worries, really.
You want to fight it?
It looks like the B site retake will be necessary. Paranoia used. I expect Boo to fall back. I see him stood on the edge of that wall, though, and I'm thinking maybe he's going to go for a little nasty play. He's waiting for their aggression for sure. Viper's Pit used from the spawn. It gives them a little avenue back through, actually. They'll get very close with a lockdown in play. The players are sent tumbling back in the other direction. They almost have to fight forward for the most part. Boo's ready for them to start with, and Lysor manages to make it out, but denying this defuse could be difficult. They're going to have to find a couple of picks. With the players sneaking in inside the pit, they could already be defusing, and someone needs to get on that to check that they aren't. Pit gets dropped, shots landed by Berlin, put them in a good position. With the wall down, Benji has the line of sight on Ayoung and lands the shot to bring it across the line. That was a chaotic round, but I have to say, I like what Team Heretics were trying there.
Yeah, I think the initial take from FPX is cool. It gets you into the afterplant, but just the ultimates that were available made it so difficult. Like, you had the lockdown to force them into an awkward position. The Viper's Pit meaning, okay, are you going to run through a Viper's Pit into a lockdown to try and destroy it? No, that makes it impossible. So the only place they could go was try and push into Boo, who was ready for it. And then it's just like, okay, even then you have that control. There is no line of sight onto the spike. There is no, you have to go running through a smoke or fight back in. And even still, Berlin made it close. Like, the fact he gets 2 is impressive. Even still, Heretics have regained the lead. Economy for both teams is on the brink here. Like, you've already got Boo down to a Bulldog, and for the other side, a light shield or 2 just to pad the gap. They're the ones with the Viper's Pit in this round, and Boo well, it's not long ago. I remember him using a Nightfall to win them around. He's one away.
You know, last round, 4 players on A from Team Heretics. They used the C's alongside the nade to deny Rubble control. They push up, taking the fight immediately on the players emerging from the spawn, deleting life. I think it was Miniboo that did that. This time, Miniboo's on the C site. Pushed up on Rubble a moment ago, or on Mound, to find that little bit of control, spotting out that no one's there. It's got the rotations from Heretics focused entirely on this A site. And some players are defending the site. Benji is in an absolutely disgusting position. If they come through, I doubt they clear this corner.
Oh, he's going to look for the timing, and it doesn't quite work out. At least gets a little bit of information. Now, the reason they've left this solo C site is, again, FPX have been there once, and they got killed from behind. So they haven't need to stack up on this side of the map. The late rotation, the orb going up is going to be a problem. Miniboo playing up close, still has his nade. They haven't baited out any of this utility, and the push-up from Life might try and sell the idea, but Berlin is just sat within this smoke. Rotation of the spike goes back, but he gets shot. He gets denied. Now they have to go in. They have to push in. And Rians has rotated through, dropped the spike on the ground, but he gets caught. Do they have time, is the question. Running in onto the site. I think they've just about got this plant. It's going to be incredibly close and just on the nose.
That's Viper's Pit to defend the plant as well. This was down to less than a second, but now the advantage is clearly in favor of FPX. Sure, some of these players are low, but everyone's going to be low on Heretics once they get near that spike.
Right there.
Utility. Luckily, Life was dropped and he had a nade. That would have been a death sentence, but Berlin putting up a fight. 29 HP. That's his 3rd kill of the round, and Young easily taking down Woot, jumping up above. Neck and neck yet again, and it seems to be very hard to separate these two teams.
Well, yeah, that round came down to what, like half a second? Riens, I think if he swings a millisecond later, and you can't really blame him for it. Berlin winning a fight, running through a smoke with Miniboo waiting on the other side, and then killing the second guy. This was his round. And, well, a little bit of luck it seems at the end, but that was just so to the wire. And as I said, you understand why Heretics only left a player there. There hasn't been any successful C-takes, and there's only been one prior to that round. It's absurd because normally you see, well, the C-site is a pretty hefty part of a lot of teams' game, a lot of executions, especially when you have arrays. But for FPX so far, it hasn't been a big part of the game plan. 5-5, and as I said, the economy was on the brink last round, and it stinks for Heretics in this round.
Yeah. I mean, a couple of sheriffs, a Bucky brought out by Benji Fishy. I'm not sure about that one, to be honest. And sometimes you'll see, you know, the orb up close like last round. Maybe he can get the value. No, he's going to have to do this dry. That's not an easy task for anybody. Has managed to get close, but the first shot doesn't land. The second does. A chance for a little bit more. He's dropped. But the Bucky isn't. It's recovered.
Hero Bucky.
Boo now has it in his hands. 2 bullets left, and he's out of here. Maybe a chance to reload as well.
Wonderful. He's got the skin for it at least. One of my personal favorites, but I can't say I'm expecting much from the Bucky from this point onwards. Boo does have his ult, so does Miniboo. I don't think they're going to want to commit them here and while with Boo already dead. The Bucky might find another player. It has.
Oh, yeah.
Riens has got one, but they're in fact going to invest the Thrash, just trying to make sure that this round doesn't fall away from them. It's still a 2v2 scenario and not the cleanest from Young, but he'll get the job done in the end. Lead taken from FPX, this continuous back and forth that we've seen throughout this map. Come on. We now look at Heretics to see if they can respond and even things up. I feel like that's sort of where it should go.
Well, with how things have gone so far, yeah, let's carry it out to the end of the half. Defensive side, I feel like, you know, one of the weird things about watching this from having seen Heretics play so many games here is that normally you have Boo constantly on Rubble. They always have a main control, and there's been such a different identity to this defensive side. At least in this half, with the comp switches, you can very much tell that there's a different idea behind playing these agents. And I think I'm curious to see how their attack pans out. Imagine more of a blob movement and less variety to what we're seeing here.
Yeah, with the whole composition, they weren't running themselves with Viper, so maybe joining the norm a little bit more there. It does also mean they don't have that breach anymore, which I think was a big talking point for Riens. Someone who's so fantastic with that supportive utility is going to have to do it in a different way. Again, we see this patient, passive FPX. I think if you watched the last map, you wouldn't have expected to hear those words come out of my mouth, but this has looked incredibly different. Happy to play into the late round, using those rotations. That counter Nightfall is definitely going to make things awkward. You maybe expected to see some spam from Boo instead. Ooh, tries to go through.
30 seconds left.
Oh, Boo's found himself one, and he's safe in the back of the site. Showstopper's good for 2. Mini Boo making a mess of this round because that's the spike on the ground, and it looks like it's only going from bad to worse for FPX. Lysor, 1 versus 4. He'll find the first, but 10 seconds, even planting this spike is impossible, and more so now because he's dead. 6-6 at the halftime. It is difficult to separate these teams. We've had to go all the way to map 3, and it looks like we've got to go a little further.
Yeah, I think that it did probably deserve to go in neck and neck. I guess you could argue with Heretics winning the pistol, maybe FPX should have come out slightly in front, but we've seen it back and forth all the way through. I think this round was much more of just that passive read after what we've seen over the last few rounds of this slow rotation. They tried to sort of hold on to it in this case, and it's worked out for them. Either way, we'll be back after the break with the second half.
And we're back with half 2 of Team Heretics versus FPX, map 3 on Lotus. This is where we're going to decide who gets to go forward and who gets to go down below. And for FPX, they put up one hell of a fight. We counted them out when it came to bind, but 13-9, they took it. They dealt Heretics one of the worst attacking halves we've seen from them, the worst, in fact. And now, as we move on to Lotus, half 2, FPX's defense, Tom, where's your expectation? I don't know what to expect from Team Heretics. There's a couple new flares to them. But do you see 6 as being enough for FPX?
I think it can be. I think it depends how Heretics come in playing this. Like, you're going to know that this composition is coming, but because of the amount of delay utility they have, you have to disrespect some of it. You have to play through smokes, you have to take risks, and maybe that's why they've got Boo now playing that supportive role, so that Woot can maybe be a bit more aggressive around those smokes.
Smoke right away has deterred the plan of Benji Fishy to put the turret down and deny any control over the mound without at least breaking it and giving away the info. Flash sent out, destroyed immediately, and look at that. Heretics pumped the brakes with a 3-man firing squad waiting for that B main aggression, and it has come through. The advantage now concretely locked in favor of the attackers, and FPX, the remaining players, Young, Autumn, and Berlin, have it all to do.
This is a tough position to try and get back from, for sure. Riens clearly knows something that we don't, because he is fighting. And wow, Autumn, maybe a bit of a nasty surprise for him. It's going to be the push through. Even still, that advantage kept. And waiting to see if there's anybody lurking around the edges of these smokes. In fact, looking like they're going to plant for the link. Instead, though, they're met by Young. This round maybe overplayed a little bit and almost caught out with utility in hand. Even still, a 3 versus 5 turned 3 versus 1. Boo has to try and turn it back again. And somehow, after such a deficit, FPX have turned this round.
I do wonder, that feels like the kind of round you end up calling a pause after. A lot of individuals scattered across the map, destroyed in individual fights, trades aren't there. But ultimately, you have to give credit to FPX for being able to pull that back. Even given the opportunities often won't be enough. Walking through a decayed wall. Here you have Young catching one off guard, and Minibu not adjusting in time. And then obviously Berlin onto Woot, another one of those individuals. They've got to be feeling good now with the lead locked in. It has been back and forth so far, but this second round will be a little tougher for Team Heretics to upset them in.
We've finally seen a split of pistols as well. After both going one team's way, and for FPX after bringing things back to even in the last half, it's going to put them in a great spot. Quite a few Sheriffs invested into here for the side of Heretics, clearly believing in the power of the pistol, and I don't really blame them. Seems like Boo's still going to be playing a similar game to what we see from him when he's on the smoke, lurking on that side of the map. And while for Berlin, it's a chance to potentially farm up orbs. It seems like he got a little bit lost there, though. Plant going to be tapped. I don't know if they realize the orbs are still here. And Wu wins that fight as well.
Well, you'd think I would have learned my lesson by now to stop counting Heretics out when they've got pistols in play, but I'll learn one day. FPX still have a chance.
My buddy's up and away.
Easy sent far, but I don't think Wingman's going to survive too much longer. Yeah, he doesn't even get it to half. The shot from Life is nice, but they haven't dealt with the player on site. Rienz is going out for more.
What?
Oh my, what is he doing? What was that? A MasterCard Thrifty in an uncouth style. I mean, I thought he'd wait for the defuse, play the time. Instead, he's going out with his knife when he still has ammo. Okay, 7 and 7.
I feel like, did he just emote on him? Is that what I've just witnessed? Yeah. He just decided to do a little dance to almost just flex in a round where, yeah, they had nothing. They had a few Sheriffs, and he had a classic, and he had 2 bullets left. I don't know. I said it. Rien's post-plant, it equals win. I don't know how. I don't know how they're managing this, but for FPX, it's got to be infuriating. You finally, as I said, they broke it. They got a split pistol for once. And well, yeah, look at the economy. It's off the charts now for the side of Heretics. They're in a great place.
Yeah, but this is better than winning the pistol. Yeah, your opponents are down in the dumps, and now you get to play a round where you've been, oh, hello, okay. Well, that's not ideal. Benji's down immediately.
Cover going now.
Having been dropped now, there's I believe it's a rifle recovered by Berlin. Opportunity for FPX at least, but yeah, well, I was going to point out that Heretics can build up a lot of money because they're only against pistols, but, well, they've already lost one, and now there's a rifle in the mix. Things get a little spooky.
Okay. The rifle's now on the ground, and they're going to want to try and retrieve that. Of course, the other side don't know about this. Trying to bait him into an awkward fight, but Boo's having a great time. Finally will be put down by Ion. But even still, that time has been ticking, and the rest of the players on Heretics haven't just been sitting there. They've got into advanced positions. This post was looking good, but now they're both trapped into the corner. This could be a huge problem. Autumn's found another, and Wood's got nowhere to go, nowhere to escape. He's going to jump and just about survive, trying to do everything all on his lonesome, but he won't quite be able to. Left completely blind. It doesn't even matter. It will be a Red Bull clutch with the spike ending the round.
You know, I expected a crazy game after all you told me about FPX, Tom, but this, I mean, Heretics are matching them. They're on the level. What in the world have I watched in the last 2 rounds? By golly gosh, Tom, I'm starting to lose my mind. A Red Bull clutch by the spike.
I feel bad for Autumn because he did so much. Even just Woot jumping over. I don't even know if they had time from this point. I don't think they did. But just the fact that he manages to jump at the right moment to survive. Well, I guess technically they didn't at least get that massive boost in economy. FPX, they probably would have hoped for a win, but they can take that as somewhat of a win. Heretics will reclaim the lead. Again, speaking about FPX and their ability to compete with the best, you're talking about a team that was in the previous Masters final with a sub, or I will say maybe the GOAT of all subs in Battletech, because that doesn't normally happen. Boo almost caught, but he's going to deny any further aggression. Still FPX trying to find some way in. delay. And you can see again, these double smokes, there always comes a point in the round where you have to disrespect them a little bit.
Well, Young had an angle. The timing not quite great. They were watching as he swung out of the door. Smokes go down, but I don't think the plan is to go to the A side. It looks like the focus is instead moving towards B. Prowler clears it. They won't waste their paranoia, instead using it much deeper, stopping any re-aggression coming out of heaven. Nade pushes them back there, and the plant should now come in safely in the corner. A foothold for Team Heretics, but Life trying to take advantage of the chaos. He's gone straight in with the blast pack and got 2-3! Lighting them up! It's Heretics on the back foot, out of absolutely nowhere. FPX have got control, and they're starting to defuse already. They've got to go running at them to stop this, and there's no stopping what started here. What a round from Life. That is unbelievable.
I don't even know. I don't even know. I think if you saw someone do that in one of your matches, you'd report them for cheating immediately. Because he is, it's like he's got a million sensitivity just spinning around. Benji's got to be almost broken watching what he just did. That's insanely clean. Wow, just as one team seems to take an advantage, the other comes right back again. 8-8. As said, there was no economy built up because of the damage done in the last round. It means there's 3 rifles available, and oh, you can already see the amount of space that's already been taken by FPX.
Back and forth we go. The Team Heretics will set the sights on the C side, although Grabwell slowing them slightly. Good damage by Berlin. Those spams are deadly. And even a snake bite kill for Autumn. In comes Thrash. It's caught one, but no one's there to convert on it. Flash used up. Young has to be careful, though. I don't know. Okay, they will convert the kill. And no punish. And then the swing from Boo traded out. 2 versus 1. And they could lock this round in here and now with the showstopper if they wanted to. But just 56 HP, and that call's probably being made. Wood is low, has his ult, and Spike's right in front of him. You're right. He can take that teleport from the shadows. He'll emerge on another site, potentially. But it looks like he's going to stick the plant here and now.
Maybe realizing it's a tough win anyway, and by he should be dead to right. Did he use it just then? I feel like I thought I heard something for a second, but maybe not. I think he just got caught by Lysol. It is going to be that defusal. Well, not too much of a problem in the end. I think the only real worry was just how much Riens was able to do. It took an ultimate to actually shut him down. He managed to sneak past pretty much everything.
Let's have a look when it pops
he did
up. You're
use
right.
it. He did use
yeah,
it.
I wasn't certain. I didn't think I heard something, but yeah, you're spot on, Tom. Used the ultimate and immediately got dropped.
I want to know where he was planning on going. Because he's using it right here. Yeah.
I guess we'll never know.
Maybe to try and go back into the spawn and reclaim other ground, try and find a gap. But yeah, didn't know his opponent was there. It's not the biggest ult in the world to lose. Like, it's not the end of the world. I don't mind him. I said I didn't mind him committing it to rotate straight away. Though aggression from either side. Life's got to be careful he doesn't get wrapped on. He does have some support. The flash is going to leave both players completely blind. Woot under serious pressure, and while that pressure is not easing up anytime soon.
Berlin, he's playing a risky game. With just Sheriffs, Team Heretics have done this before, and the spike not down in a spot that's easy to defend for FPX. They don't want to take too many risks, although now the attackers are split. Benji's holding onto the space, presumably so the spike can come back to him. In terms of utility, Benji hasn't used up any of his, but the Prowlers are gone for Boo. If he makes his way, he's going forward with the spike. I thought he'd go back to the B site. Group up, take this one as a team, as a duo. Instead, even if he does that, he's now down to just 49 health. And Benji not found a lot of space, although I don't expect him to do much here. Just sit, wait, and cover that plant when it comes through.
I think from
30
the
seconds
side
left.
of Heretics, they were hoping somebody would make a mistake. It's arguable that Berlin tried his best, but now the patience might just pay off. Benji looks like he might be about to be greeted. There's still plenty of utility to play with, but he is going to get the fight that he wanted, and he's going to take both. Now this becomes dangerous. The Nightfall committed, but to one. Boo looking to try and fight this one, but he's run out of ammo at the last second. A very nice try, but ultimately the outcome is as expected.
Just a few bullets shy of a successful round, but Young's the one to bring it across the line. Double digits locked in for FPX now. And again, you see what we mean with just Sheriffs. They almost made the 4v2 work, and who knows, if Berlin went down a little earlier, well, he would have had a few more bullets in the magazine. It's a fantastic adjustment by Benji. And like we said, just about able to take it across the line. 60 HP, 2 shots and he's down, but he'll carry forward to the next. A timeout called by Heretics, and this is the last chance for the EMEA Coach of the Year to have a word with his team, unless FPX call a timeout later.
Yeah, or unless we end up in OT again, which honestly, at this stage, I wouldn't be particularly surprised by. You have to remember as well, the road that FPX had when they're over in Shanghai, beating Foot, losing to Genji, losing to Heretics. This was the team that ultimately sent them packing, sent them home. To say that they're not looking for revenge, I think would be foolish. Obviously, it's not quite the same in the fact that Heretics would get another chance against a Masters winner. That would be the team they have to face off. Or, if they turn it around and they win this game, then they have to play a Masters winner. So, yeah, I guess playing a Masters winner where you can't be eliminated is slightly nicer. And I wouldn't even be surprised if there's a realm where these two meet back up in that decider game. I don't think it's improbable. Even still, both will want the chance to face off against Genji, and for FPX more so, this is their chance at revenge.
A lot of ultimates very close to being online. Benji and Miniboo, Lockdown and Showstopper. That Young on the other side after his clutch last round just won away himself. For FPX, this is a round they should have a fairly big advantage in. Benji's already tagged. Lots of weaker weapons, Stingers in play, but that's where things can get chaotic, where Heretics will move quicker, more sporadically as a unit.
Did they use the pin? That's the real question.
They should.
With Stingers in play, it's definitely a possibility. On the other side of things, we've immediately seen an ult to try and hold them in position, but already they're pushing back in before we've actually seen the plant, and now it has to be the fallback. Never mind though. Life has been able to take one down. Instead, though, he's going to be caught. A worthwhile trade. Showstopper out. It should be a kill, and it will be. Miniboo trying to fight up close. That spike still yet to be planted, but plenty of time to play with. And Autumn just holding back. That pit still available. Still possible to be put into play. And now it goes in. Miniboo, third kill of the round already. But he is traded out. And now it's the players within the pit. And Autumn's in real trouble. He's caught by Rienz. It was the low weapons. It was the problem weapons. And once again, it is something that FPX just cannot deal with.
Well, they came into that round one away from Lockdown, one away from Showstopper. Pick up an orb for the Lockdown, and the overcommitment from Life. He gets the nade in, it does damage, it takes down Benji Fishy. Fantastic, but because he's detained, that gives Miniboo this kill, which gets him the ult, which is immediately activated, which gets another kill. And from this point forward, well, there's the point of no return. At least that's how it seemed to be. 9 to 10.
That was why I loved them the plant as well. It really was a domino effect. And look at the economy on the other side now. Oh my god, he's got two! He's got two off the back of just wall banging, and he's almost got a third! That's an insane start to the round from Boo. Mitchman's very excited.
I like this gun. Ever tell you that, Tom?
No,
I like this gun. It's a nice gun, it's a fun gun, and it's one that's given Heretics a real chance. Even up against pistols, you gotta be careful. That's one thing that I've certainly learned in this series. But they have found themselves an advantage that's almost impossible to throw away. We saw the 2 versus 4 from Heretics with Sheriffs. 2 versus 5. 1 versus 5 now with 7 HP. That is
Put it in
quite
the
a
history
difference.
books.
Yeah. Get ready. Autumn's name in lights. But I think this Supernova is going to be premature. It's going to fade to black. There you go. Boo with a triple kill. A lot of that was down to those wall bangs. The big guns out to play.
10 to 10. Again, we see a scenario where one of the teams is in the lead and the other immediately claws it right back. It has been a game that whatever way you think it's going, it could immediately go back in the other direction. And I feel like this is going to be one of those matchups that is going to become a cult classic. Like if you're a real fan of Valorant, you're going to talk about Heretics versus FPX, because last time out, as said, it ended in a 17-15 overtime victory for Heretics, which eliminated FPX from the tournament. Now, they're level again, 10-10, double digits in the ones, and they're going to have to try and come up with something here. Because they're not out of it. They proved in the last map that even if Heretics manage to string rounds together, they can easily turn the game back into their favor. Okay, it's been a bit quieter from the likes of Life and Autumn after the last one, but it really is just going to come down to those late rounds once again.
We're going the distance, and I can't say I'm mad about it. Especially seeing Boo pull out that Odin gameplay. It's got a smile on my face. My favorite part about the replay was I was just watching Life's camera as he got hit multiple times, and he just looked so like lost, disappointed, angry, just every negative emotion stewing. We'll see if it continues. And maybe we'll see less A-main aggression from FPX, although looking at the mini-map, I don't think that's likely. A lot of players grouped up and ready to take a fight around this area. Perhaps some rubble control to be sought.
Will it be a pace change? Because that's the thing.
Looks like it.
Heretics have liked to do this, where their opponent calls a pause, so they do something completely out of the ordinary. It doesn't always work, but it looks like, again, they've just completely avoided the initial control over on A, expecting that to be a counter, and just taking space elsewhere. Now, they have Nightfall. They could look to commit that into one of the sites, but it's seemingly, it's just going to be the allowment of that control to be lost, and then just hit the site elsewhere, not giving a lot of information. The only thing is Lysor, but he is isolated.
Viper's Pit C and the review till A early, you think at this point that there will be some control, especially that one-way smoke gives it away. But it doesn't look like Heretics are deterred. In fact, Boo's moving around to presumably throw over the reveal. Or perhaps not. They're just covering the B aggression alongside the turret. It'll be a slower round from Heretics with 45 seconds left. The reveal does go through, but not outside of A. He's faking this. He's making it look like it's a B hit to keep those rotations dragged in the other direction. And it's Lysor that will have the pressure on him. He's conscious they could be here, but he hasn't used the paranoia just yet. Now they're close. Now the pressure's on, but he's caught the back turn. Paranoia out. It's caught him on the right. Miniboo can't see a damn thing. And shooting at the Tracers, not quite close enough. With Life stepping up to delete Boo. This one's looking done. The lead will stay in FPX's hands as they push up to 11.
Incredible work by Lysor. He picked his moment. That was the thing. There was so many points in that round where you could see he was tempted to use that paranoia. Seeing the Viper screen go up and basically just watching for any hint that the side of Heretics were there. And when he did use it, it was spot on. Like, he's able to push back out of what was the paint shells on his feet, get a second kill, and then at that point, everybody is focused on that Omen player, and Life can take the gap. And again, you give this man even a split second where you need to react, you're already dead. You don't have the time for it. FPX, after the pause, are going to respond once again. Well, there is a lot more early battle this time for A, but they've got to be careful. In fact, they're looking to try and get out of there. Woot is under serious pressure. They've got to give it up, but they've taken B in response.
They're fully in. 3 players in through the B choke point, completely abandoned by FPX.
Oh, no!
That's a sloppy fight if ever I've seen one. And Ultimate's here for FPX as well. They've got a Showstopper and Thrash to get back in. They're confident in playing the retake. Nightfall is available for Team Heretics, and it may well be used, and in fact it is used right now, clearing out Heaven. There's no one there. Now they start to realize where the push is coming from. All those steps are heard, but it's because Thrash is going to lead the way. Is going to take the point of contact. The seize is good. It keeps them in position. Showstopper used, but Miniboo makes up for the disaster earlier on with Benji up top, sneaking his way up close around that corner. Is a player and coming through the smoker. 2 more. He thins out the herd and leaves time so low that FPX are running for the hills, not even escaping the spike in some cases. Neck and neck. I'm getting sick of saying that, Tom.
If it doesn't go to OT, I think that would be the biggest surprise of the game so far. But honestly, Miniboo's reaction there, I love it. Like, sure, the initial fight didn't go his way, but Benji actually gets detained. So his choice there is, okay, I can surprise them. They're going to be looking to hunt down these guys. They're seized up. I'm going to try and take them down before they can get anything done. And again, solid utility from Boo just to set him up that little bit more. 11-11. No one able to break the deadlock. It has been like this throughout the entirety of the match. In fact, the series has gone this way. Still trying to fight for this early control of Rubble, and again, it's the same. So much utility being expended, Wook being caught by all of it. And he's going to try and get out of there. Instead, though, they try the same play. They try the same ruse, and it is not going anywhere near as well.
That's the spike down. And a flank underway. Killjoy turret down, so there's no way they even get that information. And it's double flank too. Life is here as well. There is no stopping the ball for FPX in this round. It got rolling, and it's trampled Heretics. Left them flat on 11. And now 1 round away from locking in this series, from the upset that we said, and the desk said, and everyone knew was possible today. But nobody expected it without Abyss. If that map didn't go to FPX, the series was done in everyone's minds. But here we are with a real chance to pull it across the line. The only thing standing between them and victory in a lot of these rounds, big plays from Heretics, and Miniboo has a showstopper. That could be a turning point to at least get them in overtime.
Again, we're going to see this control fought for. It has gone the way of FPX in the majority of rounds. Boo is trying to find something in the aggressive push-up.
We open
Surely they expect it. Oh, they do. That's a big kill. Berlin going down. It was a risk taken, and it was a risk that I don't know if it was worth it.
Doesn't seem so, especially with that showstopper online for Miniboo. He's the one picking the kill, but the ult was already there. And the C site now, knowing that there's Viper utility here, they're likely to use it to open the site. That's why Autumn has fallen back so far. He doesn't want to get caught by this big old rocket. But for now, there's no intention to use it. They're going to keep it reactive. I like this. Aware that FPX would probably fall back, would probably give them the space if they use it. Instead, they take the space for free. And now there's a showstopper for the 5v2. It's fired in blind in case there's a snake in the grass, but it looks like an overtime is already locked in. A big play needed. Young's been fantastic in so many rounds. And a spam here, my goodness, it could do a lot. But Lysor, he's conscious of a player up close.
Yeah, would reveal his position, not knowing that there was going to be an alarm bot there. He's trying to find a way through the smoke, and now, well, a 1v4 to Ace. He's been unbelievable, but this would have to be the best of them. It seems like OT is inevitable, and maybe it was from the get-go. The way this map has been going back and forth all the way, why not keep it going a little bit more? 12-12, FPX versus Heretics, always seemingly going the distance.
Overtime.
And who knows where it ends.
Well, last time their last map was, what, 15-17 in the end? So we may have some distance yet to go, Tom. That opening pick was fantastic for Miniboo, and like I said, just keeping that showstopper, holding their corners for the re-aggression, and knowing that this squad was likely to not sit on site, to not give them free kills if the rocket was popped. And it wasn't needed in the end. Round number 25 about to unfold. It's been pretty much neck and neck the whole way along. Even when it comes to buy rounds, it's hard to separate these squads. The one thing is, though, there won't be ultimates online from the get-go. We could see slower play to farm those orbs. Perhaps a more direct approach from FPX, but I'm looking at the map and it certainly doesn't seem to be the case. They're much more spread out, looking to take the control bit by bit and deny any aggression from this defensive side.
A little bit more tentative. A lot on the line. There's no easy games in this group. I think that has been proven. Going up or going down is not going to give you much easier opponent. Already pressure being placed in. Woot isn't going to be the one to find the kills. In fact, it's Rien's alongside Miniboo to do it. Leaving 3 standing, but I can't count how many 3v5s we've seen so far this game, so Heretics need to make sure they don't overextend.
Many games in the past, I've been counting teams out at this point or a little further, but lesson learned. It ain't over till the pop-up comes in. 30 seconds, though. We're certainly close to the conclusion one way or another. Heretics backing off the A side as well, expecting this hit to be a massive rotation. A late play to see. Perhaps a push through their own spawn from the stairs, and they're covering all their bases, ready for these fights. Berlin can't sneak his way in, but they have at least managed to find the A side. A plant to be found.
10 seconds left.
But a 5 versus 2 retake. Team Heretics, even just trading at this point will be more than enough.
Where do you go? Where do you fight? How do you try and remove this deficit? Are you hoping for a little bit of luck? Well, there it is. Still took some damage in response. Autumn tagged a little bit lower. Has Lysor alongside him, but not for much longer. With 15 HP, I think all the miracles are gone from this round. It will be Heretics to take that advantage, as they now need one more to end this series and repeat history versus FPX.
An OT victory to send them below. That's got to sting for FPX if that's where we end up. Yeah, because we end up on Abyss 14-12. The same situation possible here now. FPX have called a timeout because they know just how devastating that reality will be. Well, we see the Heretic side hyped up. Benji's got that energy in him. They're standing up, Miniboo's activated, and this is what we've been waiting for as well. It's not like he's on what we consider to be normal Miniboo form. He hasn't got 30 kills, so unacceptable, but he's starting to get that confidence, and that's all we needed to see on this stage as well.
He's had rounds. That's the more important thing. When it gets this late in the game, the numbers don't matter. You can have 30 kills or you can have 10. If you're the one that wins an OT round, no one gives a damn. And that's the thing. He had one of the highest impact rounds to even get them there in the first place with that push on the B site to double up. And that's all we're looking at this point. The same can be said for Life on the other side. Is it his best statistical game? No, but they've had moments. They've had opportunities, and oh, this is the chance for the coaches to make their money on either side. Yeah. Maybe calm the nerves. Maybe even calm them down after standing up and shouting across. We know that that can backfire. Benji's had that. Munyet won't forget. But back in we go. Defensive side definitely didn't look bad for the side of FPX. Very good at taking that A control, and I wonder if we're going to see Heretics look to hit elsewhere.
Well, I'm seeing a lot of pings from Heretics around C and B, but I'm also seeing FPX pushing up on Mound. 2 players. We've seen this before from Berlin. Just in the last round they played on defense, he was alone. This time doubling up to provide that little bit of extra support. And he grabs a kill for his trouble. They were sent back and they were smoked off, but somehow he's able to land that shot for free. That's the opening that I guess is karma for the last half that they played.
Timing though is going to be everything. Miniboo, as I said, impact is all that matters at this stage, and he's found a fight into that B side, but they're not going to look to play off it. You can see on the other side, Boo is waiting for a response, waiting to see if there's a re-aggress, an attempt to try and take this fight, but for now, much more passive. And that's mainly because, again, of that A side hold. You've got the cross being held onto. Autumn's position has been revealed, and I think they're just going to have to smoke this off and maybe get him out of that corner, because that would not be a safe place to stay.
Still running into a pretty heavy setup here on C. At least the orb is down for now. It's not going to last too much longer. Those sprays are good from Berlin. That's his 3rd already. Damage done that Autumn converts on. And they're not letting it go just yet. Another overtime required. 13-13. There is no split the difference here.
Overtime.
Sure. It just seems like, well, again, just look at the scoreboard. That tells you all you need to know. The back and forth has been truly astounding from these 2 teams, neck and neck. If anything, we should maybe give them both the chance to play against Sentinels, or both the chance to play against Genji, because it really does seem like both teams could or should deserve to go marching on in the upper bracket. Unfortunately, this needs to be decided. Battle continues, the fight for rubble. A continuous point, and actually a deep alarm bot being placed by Benji will mean he can keep this passive hold without needing to go for too much of a fight. In fact, all of his utility is used to that degree. on B as well. You can see the turret. Now the rest look to just try and hold on to what has been a massive point of contention in Rubble.
Not the normal hold. You don't have an easy escape a lot of the time. I mean, sure, Miniboo can get out of there. He's got his blast packs. He's not on too committed of an angle. But then just take a look at Rien's. He's got no way out. The wall might help him for a moment, but okay, the spam is good. Now where does he go? He's stuck, he's naded, and hit by the snake bite too. Miniboo gets out, but the trade 1-to-1. It's not fantastic for the defensive side. Less players to defend this map now, and FPX still have the ability to take this wherever they want. The door is open. It looks like the spike is still going to the A side. They're committing. I thought this could be a fake after initial contact, but instead they're going to run heavy into 3 players from Heretics, and it's Heretics coming ahead in all the fights. Berlin left alone, 1v3 with an op.
Yeah, with an op and no shields. Like, he's got 20 seconds. He needs a miracle. He needs a mistake. I don't even think he could pull this off unless Heretics do something silly. And, wow, holding already. Benji, he's not going to repeat that. Absolutely no reason to. They could wait for him to try and grab the spike, try and plant, but they are not giving him anything. A shutdown and another chance for Heretics as they get themselves to match and series point again.
Another chance to close this out. Moving into their attack side. This was a big gamble by them, the 3-man rotate to the A site, but it couldn't have worked out any better. You can see that from FPX's perspective, you find the opening pick, you have a lurker towards the C side who got absolutely no contact, and that for me is the sign to move around, but they're expecting that Heretics won't have moved quite that quickly into position. They wouldn't have that many players that close by, and perhaps they even isolate a duel, but instead they were the ones isolated, taken down, and with Berlin left alone, he had no chance.
I think probably one of the most fun things about this series for me is, again, you just see the depth of both of these squads. Like, I think Rien's has been outstanding on every single map. Every single map playing different roles.
Every role.
Playing Sova, playing this Viper. He has been outstanding. Gecko on the last map as well. And then, of course, across the board, the exact same thing. Ayung has been unreal on the initiator. And you're going to talk about Life, you're going to talk about Wu as these superstars that we have seen time and time again, but it really has been like, at any moment, any player in this server could be the one to make the difference.
Yeah, I mean, even Autumn last map was really fun seeing him on the chamber. They were getting so much value out of that agent. For FPX.
Well, he played double duelist with this team in the past and has recently been moving to more like smoker roles at times and even playing some sentinels. I guess technically that is what he was on, but
yeah, according to the
not
rule
quite
book.
the same degree.
Yeah, I think you can do a little more with Chamber when it comes to fighting than a Cypher, for example, but I suppose it depends if the name's Runner. This is huge. The spam, though, has been dodged by FPX. This previously led to 2 players dying. This time, next to nothing. In fact, no damage, right? Walking straight into the site and finding the opening. That's Life down with a good opportunity to convert the plant as well. FPX can't really deny this. They have to fight for the retake.
Well, yeah, this could be it. A man advantage. The hold from Boo. I don't know if they will have heard him taking that little bit of extra damage. Well, they definitely know now. He's revealed his position, but if anything, that could be worse for them. They're going to have to try and fight for this, try and get back in. Paranoia has been used elsewhere to try and reclaim the baby door. Lifesaw's going to get one, but still the kill's going in favor of this attack side, looking to try and hold the line, and that's exactly what they're doing. Needs to be someone on this diffuser when it just isn't happening. It's left all onto Autumn. He's fought throughout this series, but I think the job is done. Time and time again, you'll see these teams fight against each other, and unfortunately, FPX fall exactly the same way.
Separated only by the overtimes. One hell of a fight put up by FPX, but Heretics, after a little break, a little rest, they've come back looking better. Even changing it up, and that's the real head scratcher. The Lotus composition, switching roles, Woot and Boo swapping it over, bringing in Rien's on the Viper. Well, it's worked out, but only barely. This is a squad that I think we're going to see a lot from this tournament. I think you can say the same for both, though. FPX, it would be devastating to see them go out down in that lower bracket, but I think they're going to have one hell of a fight there.
Yeah, no, it's been a super impressive performance. I think especially on Bind. Like, they threw a spanner into the works, came up with a crazy composition that I think definitely caught the side of Heretics off guard, and I think that their game versus Sentinels is going to be one to watch because super impressive. But again, you talk about this Heretics squad, the youngsters led by Boo, that's someone who has brought a team of very inexperienced players to some crazy performances all the way throughout the year, and they're able to weather the storm once again. They show exactly what they can do in these high-intensity moments. Some of these youngsters, Mini Boo, he saved it all for the last map, ended 21 and 22, a serious comeback, re-ends throughout the series, godlike. Genuinely a fantastic series through and through, and while we say we don't see much of the initiator Boo, he's done all right.
He's not too bad. He's not too bad. Then even towards the bottom of the scoreboard, someone like Benji, well, if he doesn't end up finding himself the sheriff shots, we don't go to an overtime.
Yeah.
It's a different reality. Who knows what the butterfly effect of that would be, but I mean, they'll definitely thank their lucky stars. They pulled that one across the line. A really solid series, a good display from Heretics. I think they've shown us depth. They've shown us the individuals. Mini Boo on stage as well. I think it's a big factor for him to find that confidence here at the international level at Champions, up against a squad like FPX. And look, it doesn't get any easier in their group. Group B is a punishing one for sure. You've got some of the highest caliber squads in the world in just this group, but Heretics at least have that little extra buffer now moving through the upper bracket.
Yeah, and they also get a very early rematch of their Masters final, which will be an exciting one, I'm sure, for Neil. He's going to be having a heart attack here and there because he's not only had to witness that, but now has to be ready for Gen G going forward. That's not going to be fun, and I'm sorry, Neil, but I would like to see this match again, if I'm honest. Either way, we are going to be heading things off to the stage. I believe we have Boo.
What an intense series between FPX and Team Heretics. I have Wood on standby to talk about it. Now, congratulations, Wood, on that win. Just first things first, how crazy was it today? 우트 선수 만나보도록 하겠습니다. 박수 부탁드릴게요. 먼저 오늘 풀세트 개막전 경기 소감부터 들어보도록 하겠습니다.
감사합니다. Thank you so much.
How was it today? How crazy was it?
It was really good. Like, it's just a default FPX game. Like, hard, annoying, but we are always winning in the end. So.
항상 FPX 만나면 뭐 경기가 팽팽하고 힘들기는 하지만 그래도 헤리틱스가 항상 이기기 때문에 오늘도 승리해서 기쁘다고 얘기를 했습니다. Now, first time ever competing with the full roster for you guys, and actually looking through all of the matches that you guys played, EMEA included, this roster actually has the highest win rate. I'm quoting Josh on this. So what are the chances, do you think, that Heretics has in winning that trophy when it comes to champions with this iteration of Team Heretics? 로스터가 사실 시즌 초에 구성한 로스터 그 자체인데 국제에서는 이 로스터로 또 처음 치르는 거거든요. 좀 첫 경기 치르기도 했었고 팽팽한 경기기는 했지만 이번 로스터 그리고 베스트 5로 치르는 이 경기에 대해서 그리고 이 챔피언스에 대해서 좀 어떻게 느끼고 있는지 물어보도록 하겠습니다.
I don't want to jinx it, but our roster is like on our peak right now. We are grinding every day, practicing every day. So I'm feeling good about it. It's gonna be better than other events.
사실 이 베스트 5 멤버가 지금 계속해서 고점을 찍고 있고 너무 열심히 하고 있기 때문에 약간 좀 부두수를 걸기는 그렇지만 그래도 충분히 좋은 성적을 낼 수 있을 거라고 좀 이번 챔피언스 느낌이 좋다고 얘기를 했네요. Now, because you left a huge impact in Shanghai on the duelist role, everyone here is like shouting, we want to see Wood back on the duelist. I know back in EMEA, you guys were doing that double duelist comp and you were playing a little bit of ISO. That thing's nerfed now. So is there any chance that we see you on the duelist here in Champions Seoul? 일단은 워낙 임팩트 높은 모습을 상하이에서 보여줬기 때문에 우트 선수의 타격대 챔피언스에서도 한번 보고 싶다 하시는 분들이 많으실 텐데요. 뭐 유럽 지역에서는 아무래도 투 타격대를 기용했을 때 아이소를 보여주기도 했던 우트 선수인데 이번 챔피언스에서도 좀 우트 선수의 타격대 기대해봐도 좋을지 물어보겠습니다.
First of all, I'm still same. I want to play flex, but if we need it, if we like need some emergency situations, I will. But now, no, I don't want it. Like it's okay now. We are still winning. We didn't lose in Champions yet. If we lose, we can think, but we didn't. So we are chilling.
아직까지도 팀을 위해서 플렉스 역할을 해주는 데 집중하고 싶고 딱히 타격대에 대한 욕심은 없기 때문에 그리고 챔피언스에서 아직 뭐 지지 않았잖아요. 그렇기 때문에 혹시나 지게 되면 타격대를 잡는 변화를 줄 수도 있을 것 같지만 현재까지는 팀을 위해서 팀적 플레이를 위해서 좀 플렉스 롤에 조금 더 집중하고 싶다고 얘기를 했습니다. 그러면 이제 또 젠지를 상대하게 됐는데 워낙 또 랭크도 많이 하고 텍스처 선수와 젠지 선수들과 재미있게 노는 모습을 많이 보여주고 있는데 그래도 경기 때는 반드시 이겨야 되잖아요. 젠지에게 한마디 부탁해 보도록 하겠습니다. Now, I know you guys are having fun with Gen G players, especially Texture teaching you a lot of Koreans. You guys are, playing ranked together. But when it comes to the next match, you guys are facing Gen G enemies in the server. Anything you want to say to Texture and the Gen G players?
Hey, Samjon. I'm gonna take my revenge. You are old.
What?
I don't want to say the rest. You are old, so your time is over.
텍스처 선수 아무래도 나이가 있기 때문에 텍스처 선수의 시간은 끝났다. 그리고 더 할 말이 없다라고 얘기를 했습니다. 이렇게 해서 우드 선수 만나봤습니다. 다시 한번 박수 부탁드릴게요. Now that was Wood, everybody. One more time for Wood, and that's all we have for today. But make sure you come back tomorrow for more Valorant action here in Champions Tour.
감사합니다.
Thank you so much, Jen and Woot, for the Verizon post-match interview. And Team Heretics walks away with the win. I mean, a little bloodied and bruised, I would say. Both teams coming out of that one. Bit of a slugfest toward the end there, Mimi.
You know it's a slugfest when the Astros buying off in overtime.
Yeah.
That was,
you're out of ideas at that point.
This was the most FPX game I've ever watched, where they really push the team. They show some creative and cool ideas, and they also show a lot of FPX silly rounds, but it is really tragic for them to end this same way. And another heartbreaking overtime loss to Team Heretics, now twice at 2 different international events.
Yeah, it's crazy that you come into this and you think, okay, Abyss must win. They lose it in overtime there. Then they go over to Bind and they beat them on a map that has been really, really, really good for Team Heretics throughout this year. And then you go over to Lotus and you're like, okay, well, they beat them in Shanghai on this map. Surely this time it can go fine. Like, what could go wrong? And it goes to another overtime.
And part of the reason why Heretics was able to get that win, honestly, you got to give love to this guy on your screen right here. Reigns was playing incredible. I mean, this guy was absolutely on fire the entirety of the series and really contributed so much to this Heretics team.
This was Rian's series. I think that Team Heretics strayed a little bit from what at least I felt was like the definition of this team in stage 2 with the mini boon neon, with a lot of these set plays, things like that. We saw a little less of that today. They had to do a lot more on the fly, adapt to this weird stuff that FPX was throwing at them.
And it was weird.
But the individuals stepped up when they were needed, and Rien's had an excellent day, not just on map 3, but across the series.
Yeah, I mean, Rien's, okay, so there's a lot to talk about with this scoreline for today. He's the only player on Team Heretics that's positive in K2D throughout this entire match. Plus 27 across 2 maps, that's nuts. Mini Boo went minus 20.
Damn.
So he was having a real, real hard time today.
Yeah.
But Rian stepped the heck up. He was just great from start to finish today. His util was amazing. His fragging was even better.
The thing is, though, I'm happy to wipe away the fact that this was a close game. People are gonna say, "Oh, you almost lost to FPX. That's a big bad sign for Team Heretics." I don't really prescribe to that fully. I think people always underrate the CN teams. I'm guilty of that. I think everyone is when they watch them play regionally, that they look rough. They really are a tough opponent to play against, but they're definitely going to have to clean up a lot of the issues. I think we saw a lot of rounds that they let a lot of individual stuff go the way of FPX. Some players weren't quite on their mark, and it seems like they are figuring out some new ideas, some new comps. So they're going to have to lock in if they want a chance to beat Gen G, but winning this match means they have 2 chances to make it to playoffs, which is huge.
Yeah, they're setting themselves up for success in the long run. Day 1 of Champions Seoul is in the books officially. So let's go ahead and take a look at the Group B bracket where we are right now with Gen G and Heretics moving forward. We're now going to see Sentinels versus FPX, and that's going to be a tough one. But you know what, man? After what I saw from FPX today, I'm I'm feeling kind of good.
Get ready. They're nuts.
They're nuts.
Individually, they're cracked out of their minds. They can come up with these ideas like we saw in Bind that just are so off-kilter, you don't know what to do against it. You're caught completely off guard.
And we also saw what happened in the game against Gen G today. When you throw some different things at them, you know, with Sentinels, they were getting caught off guard big time. That's FPX's whole shtick.
Exactly.
So I kind of feel pretty good about FPX.
I do think
but
it's
of
a
course
different
Sentinels are
beast.
going to. That is true.
Yeah.
I'm not discrediting that. And I do feel like Sentinels are certainly going to be coming out of the gate swinging, especially after losing to Gen G. But I don't want to write off FPX.
No.
Literally what you just said, Mimi.
I felt like Sentinels lost to like getting out-called a lot today. I felt like they couldn't find solutions, especially on Ascent. Like they couldn't deal with the A-split that kept happening, which I think is more of a team issue. I think FPX is where they're going to really get tested, less so on like the macro, but more so the fundamentals, how thorough and coordinated they are, and also a lot on the individuals. FPX is a team who will take a hell of a lot of fights, and if you're not on point, they'll own you.
In my mind, FPX kind of almost lost to themselves today. Like, I think there's a few moments, like some of the Astro Walls on Lotus I didn't like with those Cosmic Divides. I was like, these leave really good opportunities for your opponents to go for these retakes or to counter your retake. Like, they didn't seem to play off of it well. So like things like that, those little things that need to be tweaked, that if they can, they absolutely can beat Sentinels. We just saw it here today. They're able to push Team Heretics. Now Heretics, a team that got second, playing against Gen G again, rematch of the Shanghai Grand Finals. But Heretics is no pushover at all. They're a very, very good team. Sentinels better watch out.
Even in this also, FPX's confidence should be high going into that game tomorrow. They're a dangerous team.
Totally agree. And honestly, it's just great to see all these teams here at Champions just bringing it. It's exactly what we wanted coming into the biggest event of the year. And we are not done, not by a long shot. You guys, this is day one. We got way more coming up here. You got DRX taking on Crew Visa. And then it's going to be Fnatic versus Pansy's favorite word to say, Billy Gaming. It's going to be exciting. I'm looking forward to that DRX Crew game because I want to see what Kesnick can do and what this DRX kind of refresh roster can also bring to the table here at a global event.
I forgot about it too. The teams get quite a while before they play their second match. So there is a lot of time to kind of learn from that first game and grow. So it's going to be cool to watch out. But yeah, those games are fun, both DRX and Crew. Showing it the first time at a global event since Champs last year. So should be cool. And they've both been to so many globals, but they've never played each other.
Is that crazy?
It's crazy.
It's insane.
Yeah. What baffles my mind is that we haven't talked about DRX in a global all year. It just feels so foreign to me. But it's nice that they're here. They're repping the the Familia and Seoul.
A Korean team is winning everything, and it's not DRX. So they've got some motivation to step back up now, being at home.
Hell yeah. It's going to be exciting. But that is going to do it for us here today. We thank you so much for watching. And tomorrow we got some more epic action ahead of us as VCT Champions continues with Group A. Here's a small sneak peek. What's ahead?
You want some water? I don't need water. I need Billy Gaming. I'm not gonna lie, Fnatic are looking... And it's perfect from Chronicle! Pretty decent right now. Oh, come on! We're looking alright. I'm gonna beat you, sorry, Buster.
Are you recording audio? Yeah.
Bye-bye. Here we go again.